everyone will know who's king of the road. Racing fans, this bud's for you.
It's hard to believe in August with the temperature 94 degrees that we're talking football, but it's preseason, and we have the Washington Redskins, the Houston Oilers coming your way. October 30th, the regular season premiere of NFL football live at 8 p.m. Eastern time here on ESPN. So right now we're in the preseason, but join us for the regular season on October 30th. And there is a look at the red number 1 of the second winningest driver in USAC history, second only to the legendary A.J. Foyt. He is a 4-time USAC midget champion. He is also the only driver to win both the midget and sprint car titles in the same year. We had a chance to take a closer look and a conversation with Rich Vogler.
I think that's it. I'm a hard racer. I race on the ragged edge every lap, and if I make a mistake, which I have made mistakes, I'll slip, and if there's somebody around, I might bang into them. And just the opposite, you know, when the guys are around me racing Rich Vogler, everybody thinks they need to beat Rich Vogler at no cost. And a lot of guys will try a lot harder than they're capable of doing to try and beat me, and it causes problems. It's hard to explain because the race fans have everybody has their special driver and a special team and that, and it's just that if I tangle up with a certain group's favorite driver, it was my fault no matter what happened. I mean, whether it was my fault or not, and it's just the way it is. I don't think about, while I'm on a track, having to work on the race car, as far as if I take a chance and wreck the race car, I got work to do next week. I don't think of it that way. Again, I switch off the mechanics role when I'm on the racetrack, and I just become a driver, and that's my role on the racetrack. I'm out there to win every race I run, every race I start, whether it's a heat race, semi-feature, feature event. You know, even qualifications is a race, and I go out there to win every race that I enter. The people that I really looked at, my heroes when I was growing up, I guess would be people like Bob Tattersall, Mike McGreevy, and Mel Kenyon. Of course, Mel's, you know, still racing, and he's still one of my heroes. Mel Kenyon, you give him a good race car, and I have a hard time beating him. Sometimes I even don't get it done. So those are the kind of the people that I looked at, and of course, you know, top of the list is going to have to be A.J. Foyt. A.J. is, to me, is one of the best, the greatest race car drivers that there's ever been. I mean, he has done what I've done, race midgets and on all the way up to the, you know, NASCAR race cars and everything.
And there is a look at a driver that may well become the winningest driver ever in USAC history as the seasons unfold. Right now, second only to the man he was speaking of, A.J. Foyt, the #1 Bryant Pepsi car of Rich Vogler, 4-time USAC midget champion. As the drivers are being pushed off, we are preparing for the 30-lap main event. And look, who else drove it? They drove a midget? I don't believe that. They had to have a stunt driver that for sure. We're coming back with the 30-lap main event, the final midget race of the Hardee's Racing Series, live from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Hi. I've been looking all over for this terrific video cassette I heard about. It's called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports. There's scenes where Darryl Dawkins renovates NBA backboards.
That's a fantastic video. The all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports is 45 minutes of the funniest film I've ever seen.
Great, so you have it.
No store has this version, but you get it free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. You get 25 weeks of SI, including the Pro Football Preview, the beautiful swimsuit issue, the Summer Olympic Special issue, the commemorative Olympic pin set,
And the all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
You get it all. Just call Sports Illustrated's toll-free number and you'll get SI for over 47% off the cover price. Just 3 monthly installments of $9.89 each. You can even use a credit card.
I gotta get to a phone. What's that number again?
Here, 1-800-777-2100.
Hi, have you heard of a video cassette called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
This is where champions begin.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Mike Tyson, Terrence Ali, Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Superstars who forge steel nerves and iron punches on Budweiser's top-ranked boxing. Watch live Friday night fights. Top Rank Boxing puts you in the ring where champions are made on ESPN.
The USAC Jolly Rancher Midgets live from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Several thousand race fans joining us on a hot, muggy Thursday evening here in central Indiana. The pace car being driven tonight by Pancho Carter, a guy who's had a lot of success on this racetrack. And he has a field of what will be 24 midgets behind him. One car is still in the pit area in that designated area as the crew continues to work on car number 17. That is JP, Johnny Parsons.
They're going to have to lose their starting spot. That's a shame of coming in. You can make your car right, but you lose your starting spot. Johnny was starting in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th row outside, starting 10th spot. So now he's going to have to go to the back of the field.
And I think, is this the first time back in the cockpit since he took that header in, at Erie, Colorado, and broke the shoulder blade?
That's the first time we've seen him.
Could be the first time back in the race car. He'd hope to be back by next week, so he's premature in his return. But standing by in the pit area, Brian Hammonds.
Gary, the reason that Johnny Parsons is in the pits, he was oiling the racetrack. They're changing the oil cooler right now, trying to get that thing fixed. It's going to be a tight race. I don't know if he can get it fixed in time. Jim Keeker also pulled in earlier. His engine was missing. They found nothing wrong with the car. He's back out on the racetrack, although he now has to start at the back of the pack. We keep this in mind. This is the first time that Keeker has run with a magneto. Maybe that's the problem. Gary?
Once again, for the folks that are joining us perhaps for the first time, once they're pushed away, Steve Chassie, and they take their position in the lineup, and then they stop for any reason, they have to go to the back of the pack.
That's right. Once they're pushed off, even if they don't take their position, if they just get pushed off, go around the racetrack and come back in, they lose their starting position. They have to go to the rear and start. You know, it's important here because this is the last race of our series here, and this is a pretty important points race, so you don't want to lose any chance you have of running up front.
Well, there is the 4 abreast salute down the main straightaway as the fans stand up. Well, I guess it's 3 abreast. It's supposed to be 4 abreast.
I told you, Gary, for weeks, it's hard to do.
Well, we've seen 4 abreast in the past. What's it supposed to be tonight? What was called for in the drivers' meeting?
Well, it's
We
supposed
didn't
to be a
attend that,
4
did we? Well, it was a modified salute, whatever it was supposed to be, but the fans were very receptive. They stood and returned the salute from the grandstands. Now, keep in mind, we will give you the lineup, but Jim Keeker will have to go to the back of the pack, as will Johnny Parsons. And Parsons is about to be pushed away right now. The front row, Bob Ciccone, Jim Keeker, but remember, Jim goes to the back of the pack. In row number 2, on the inside, Kevin Olson and Terry Winnie. In row 3, Jim Mahoney, Rich Vogler. In the 4th row, on the inside, Mel Kenyon, Steve Lacho starts outside. In the 5th row, Mac McClellan, number 5, and Johnny Parsons Jr., but he goes to the back of the pack. In the 6th row, Russ Gamester in 46, Tom Bigelow in 16. In the 7th row, Stan Fox in 7, Jack Calabrese in 66. In the 8th row, Dan Borst in 7, and Robbie Flock in 3D. In the 9th row, Brian Caruso in 23C, Mark Gerke in 74. Row 10 inside 20, Kenneth Nichols. Outside 97, Michael Lang. And the 11th row, Jim Alvis inside number 9, outside Rick Burdine in 48. And row 12, Don Tyler in 18, and Dick Pohl in 25.
What they've done is they don't cross the car, so the guys that were like from the 5th row back behind Parsons have all gained 2 spots already because they moved them straight forward. Keeker's gone and Parsons is gone. That moves that line straight forward, so they've already gained some spots.
The furled flag being displayed right now, indicating 1 more lap, and the work continues in the pit area. Parsons is being pushed away. There is JP. And John is being pushed away, so he will go to the back of the pack and should have rejoined the pack by the time they get the green flag. The field now rolls into turn 2, and there is JP exiting the pit area. The pace car has turned off the amber lights. Pancho Carter pulls the Hardee's ESPN pace car away, and the field now belongs to Bob Ciccone. We have had no repeat winners, so could it happen for Bob Ciccone this evening? He has won earlier this year.
Well, it could happen. He's got an excellent spot to start. You've got Ciccone starting. We've got Terry Winnie on the outside now, but right behind him is Vogler, so it's going to be a tough one to win.
The green flag is out. Now, once again, this does not mean we'll be racing unless they go down the backstretch in racing formation. Will he go to the yellow? Will the yellow come out? No, the green stays out, so the race is underway. Down the backstretch, it remains green, and look at that battle up in front. And look at Latshaw. Latshaw in the black deuce, the black number 2. Latshaw has moved to 4th already. He is overdue for a victory.
And he wants it bad. Look at him, and you can see how hard he's driving. They all want it bad, though. Kevin Olsen wants to win bad. This car didn't show up last week, and he came with no ride. And he's back in this car, and now he's leading the race.
Kevin Olsen leads down the backstretch, but look at that battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th position. Bob Ciccone there on the inside, but in 2nd position is Terry Winnie in 23. Terry Winnie, but now he loses a couple of positions.
I thought we were going to get a little tangled there. There's a lot of cars going in and out, and Rich was looking for a place to go, and they all closed up on him.
Well, Bob Ciccone has moved to 2nd. Terry Winnie is up to 3rd, but look at that battle coming off the corner.
Look at the cars that are up front. We've got there goes Ciccone on the inside.
Ciccone takes the lead. Moving to 3rd is Vogler. Vogler now moves to 2nd.
Boy,
look at him coming off the corner.
He had some speed off the corner. Now, if nothing happened to Rich, I'd say he's gone because he was fast.
A problem, and that is Ciccone. Bob Ciccone, perhaps a drive shaft problem again. He coasted off the 2nd corner. He got the hand up. Now can he get off the track, or will this prompt a yellow?
He's going to stay on the racetrack, it looks like, and prompt a yellow. But the guys behind did an excellent job.
There is your leader, Rich Vogler. The yellow is now out. The yellow is out. 4 laps now complete. We revert back, so we have 3 laps now complete. And Vogler waving.
And we'll go back on the lineup, and the guys who had just got a spot that lap will lose that spot back because they have to go back to the last green flag lap to get the rundown.
Well, we talked about Bob Ciccone being a past winner here during the Hardy Series. One past winner is watching us tonight in Fort Collins, Colorado. Mike Gregg took a nasty ride last week at the Belleville Nationals. His car was destroyed. He has some stitches in both legs. He's very sore, but hopes to be back in the pavement car on the dirt at Springfield next weekend. So, Mike, we wish you well. We'll see you over in Illinois a week from now, but he is watching and recuperating and working out the soreness in Fort Collins, Colorado.
That's the day after the championship Silver Crown race,
which you'll be driving in as well. And there is a look at Bob Ciccone, who is now in the pit area. So the crew takes a look at that car, and what we saw earlier in a big smile obviously has turned to a frown now as they're, well, Lou Ciccone, his dad, talking to him, looking over the left rear, so it does not appear to be in the drive line area.
No, and the way it stopped, it could have been an engine that went bad on him real quick, but he didn't stop on the designated work area for the push-off, so it must have been pretty serious.
Well, we have 3 laps now complete, 27 laps to go, and your leader is the red number 1 of Rich Vogler. The black deuce, make that 93, the black 93 of Mahoney is up to 2nd, so a good ride thus far for Jim Mahoney.
He has his work cut out for him, though, because Vogler's Cosworth is just exceptionally fast tonight. You've got a Cosworth, Volkswagen, 2 Cosworths, and another Volkswagen. So if they're mixing it up good, and I think, like we talked earlier, the parity is pretty close.
Let's go back to the start of the race. The first 3 laps, very tightly contested. These guys were running, as we say, wheel to wheel, but there was really no room for error.
No, there really isn't. Jack Calabrese, I think he's finding out that Pontiac power makes a difference when you try to run low, and it's just not, it takes a different technique when you have to run with momentum rather than power.
Well, Jack right now is in that yellow number 66. Johnny Parsons, the blue 17, will be right behind. Calabrese is now in 17th position, and that is not exactly where he likes to be, nor has he been that far back in most of our races this season.
No, he hasn't. You know, this racetrack is an excellent racetrack, and we've had an excellent series here, but we also have the 18th annual Tony Hulman Classic coming up August 18th here at Raceway Park.
1 week from tonight, and we'll have that one for you here on ESPN next Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. We mentioned Jack Calabrese with his problem last week. They're building a new car to debut at the Copper Classic in February. Todd Forbes is building that, but much of the work from the firewall out will be done by Mike Stryker, who also did a lot of work on his Pontiac power plant that has been so successful with Jack Calabrese in the cockpit. There is the furl flag. 1 lap to go. Now, the question is, Steve Chassie, can anybody run down Rapid Ridge?
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. If anybody could, Mahoney could, because he's been running so fast through the corners. He doesn't have quite the pep that the Cosworth does down the straight. As you'll see on the start, at the end of the straightaway, the Cosworth will just pull 2 or 3 car lengths.
It's up now to Rich to pick up the throttle, anticipating the restart. Here he is off the corner. There is the green, and once again, we are racing now on lap number 4. We have 27 laps to go, and we talk about the final feature for the midgets. But remember, the sprint cars come your way next Thursday evening in what will be the final race in the Hardee's Racing Series this season.
The 23 car of Terry Winnie was, you know, he took the lead. Actually, he crossed the starting line first, and he seems to be backing up a little bit. Now he's trying to find his way back and move back.
But look how close this pack is working off the second corner. There is a look at the front of the pack, but there is the pack right back there, and there is no room for error.
No room for error. And it looks like Fox is having a problem. Not Fox, I mean Kevin Olsen.
Kevin Olsen in car 21.
He's backing up also.
And he is really backing up now as they scramble to go around. There is trouble in car 21.
Must have had an engine problem. But look at the racing. This is, you know, I think everyone knows it's the last point race for this series, and no one's giving an inch, and they're all going 110%. We're going to see, I'm sure we'll see close racing like this all night, all through the pack.
Dan Borst is in the pits in the Pontiac-powered number 7. He is out of the race, but they're not just falling into a single file formation yet.
Oh, no.
Still running 2 and 3 abreast.
Yeah, they're 2 and 3 abreast, and like we thought, Mahoney is right on Vogler's tail. Vogler can't afford any mistakes because Mahoney is hot on him.
7 laps now complete, and the yellow number 61 of Mel Kenyon rides in third. Mel has finished second, what, 2 or 3 times this season here, but has yet to win one.
Has yet to win, and who knows, he's closing the gap a little bit at a time. He may catch these 2 and smoke by both of them. But
there's a look at your top 3 right there.
He has a job cut out for him. Mahoney seems to run real good through the corner, gets a lot of momentum off the corner, but at the end of the straightaway, Vogler still just pulls away.
Well, Vogler could become our first and only repeat winner this season as he runs out in front, but look at the gap closed down between second and third.
Now all of a sudden Mel's come up real strong, and it looks like Mahoney's backed off a little bit. Maybe he heated his tires up a little too much trying to get by Rich.
Let's see what line Mel uses now. A pair of Volkswagens chasing a Cosworth. Mel looked to the inside coming off the corner, but that's not exactly a place to pass.
Not really, unless you can get a real strong run from the middle of the corner. He'll work the racetrack. He'll find his spot. He likes to pass on the outside getting into a corner, but Mahoney runs a real good groove. He runs real high getting in, so that takes that spot away from Mel. So now he's got to figure another way. Maybe he can get close enough that he can drive by on the inside getting into a corner, but it'll take a lot of
We have
speed.
never really seen Mahoney experiment that much. He is very consistent in his high line.
No, he hasn't, but well, let's see what happened here.
Now there goes Mel to the inside. Mel Kenyon has second position. Now can he pull away? And it appears that he can. Can he close down, though, on that Cosworth? Mel does pull away down the backstretch into turn 3. They're working now on lap number 12. Still a lot of race yet to go. And there is Lacho in the black number 2. Lacho is battling with Keeker in the red number 6. The United Oil car. Or no, that's
the 7
number
car.
7.
That's Fox.
Fox. A pair of red cars out there. One is 6 and one is 7, and both are Pontiacs.
And hard to distinguish.
Yes, but that is Fox now. And Stan is hooked up in a good battle with Steve Latshaw.
There's another case where Latshaw runs the groove. He runs up high on the racetrack, and the only way to pass him is underneath.
Battle for 4th position. Latshaw in the black car is 4th. And Stan Fox is now 5th. And there is a look at the front of the pack. Your leader is Rapid Rich Vogler, a 4-time USAC Midget champion, 2nd on the all-time win list. And he has the Pepsi Bryant car well out in front right now.
He has it well out in front, and Mel doesn't seem to be picking up a lot of time on him quickly here. We've got 14 laps down, so he has a little ways to go, but it's tough.
A look at 8, 9, and 10. I think Johnny Parsons was riding, what, in 9th position now?
That's it.
The light blue number 17, and he has come, remember, from the back of the pack.
That's right. And he's working right now on Robbie Flock.
West Coast Midget champion is now dropping 1 position as Parsons moves around. So John is having a real good ride from the back of the pack in a new car for Johnny Parsons. John at one time finished 2nd in the point standings in the midget division in his career. He's also finished 2nd in the Silver Crown point standings. But doggone it, JP has never won a USAC championship.
No, he hasn't. I don't think he's ever really had a full, solid season of racing. He's always had an accident or car failure or something that's kept him from it.
Well, he's up to 8th position, but realistically, to have a good shot at, say, a top 3 finish tonight, he would have to have a yellow, I would think, to close this field down and have a good run at it.
I think so, because Rich is a full straightaway ahead of Mel. And
there's the light blue number 97 of Michael Lang, a former go-karter who made the transition to midgets. There's also number 20, that is Kenneth Nichols. And number 9 is Alvis. So a good battle right there, and that is John Murphy, I think, in the 70 car.
the 23 car. Is that
23 car, the 23 car. That's our friend from Massachusetts, Brian Caruso.
Brian Caruso.
Now, that is an unlikely place for a race driver to come from. I mean, I realize you left Massachusetts as a young child and went to California, which is where you're supposed to be if you're going to be a race driver, right?
Well, it's supposedly yes, but there are car owners and drivers.
Now there goes Alvis on the inside, and he is trying to make a pass of Kenneth Nichols. Can he make it stick down low? Very close, coming off the corner. And look at it, 3 wide as Michael Lang stuck his nose down low.
No room for mistakes there, Gary.
And now Michael Lang tries the inside groove, trying to get by Kenneth Nichols.
This is the kind of racing you get when you get 4 evenly matched cars.
Oh, a problem. A problem on the backstretch. There's a car back there. That was Robbie Flock in the number 3 car, I believe.
That's what it looked like, the color, yes.
That goldish color.
When you get 4 evenly matched cars like this, then it's up to the driver to find the right way to go.
Well, your leader now is in traffic. He pulls alongside Rick Burdine in 48, pulls up behind Mark Durkee.
Now watch the horsepower of this Cosworth. Look at the horsepower. It just drives right by these guys.
Vogler continues to lead as he has completed lap 21, working on lap 22. And there's a 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
That's Fox in the 7 car, that Mahoney in the 93 car, and
Latshaw, Steve Latshaw.
That should be a good battle there. That should be a real good
79 USAC Midget champion. Also, here's one for you, trivia question. A 1962 National Quarter Midget champion was Steve Latshaw, who finished 3rd that year in the Quarter Midget standings.
Everybody knows that.
Pancho Carter. That's because you saw the picture earlier, that's why.
Oh. They're having a hard time here because, like I said, Mahoney runs this racetrack right. He runs up top, a lot of momentum, and unless you're really going fast on the bottom like Fox was trying there and hooked up, you can't get by a guy unless you can get close enough to motor him entering the corner like right here.
There he goes on the inside, and Fox may have 3rd position, slides back up almost. We've seen that happen last week. We've seen it happen tonight. 2 cars, one simply comes down or stays in the groove. The other slides up and they get together.
And that's
almost happened again.
Well, you have to know who you're racing with and trust the guy that he's not going to do that, because a lot of guys would be moving up the racetrack as that racetrack was coming up towards them.
Tries him to the inside again. But he has to tuck in behind him coming off that 4th corner now.
His pass is going to be on an entry into a corner with speed. And it may not be.
Tries it here, but he can't make it.
I think the third turn's a better spot than the first turn for it. And when you try it at the first turn, usually you can't get back in time to make it to the third turn. But there he goes with the speed and horsepower. And he's gone by.
Jack Calabrese is out of the race. He's pulled that 66 car behind the wall. And now third place belongs to Stan Fox, the best ride he's had for a while in the midget.
And it's interesting to see how a car in front is holding another car up. You really can't tell that until the guy gets by. And then if he stretches him out and puts some distance on him, then you know he was holding him up.
26 laps complete. We have 27 now complete and 3 laps to go, and I think we'll have a repeat winner.
It looks that way, barring any unforeseen engine problems. Rich has this in the bag. He's just long gone, and he's out. He's not on a Sunday cruise, but he's not really working that hard. He knows his car's fast, and there's no one near him, so he's just happily going on his way.
Well, it's very difficult to get hand signals here from the crew members, but he has experienced enough to know that through his hearing, there's no one close behind, no one challenging right now.
No, and plus he's been through a lot of traffic, so he knows that there's lapped cars between he and the next guy. So it's all over but the shout, and so you white flags out one more time around.
5/8 of a mile. The banking is 13 degrees here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Vogler still working that steering wheel, though, having a good workout in the Brian Pepsi Jonathan Bird cafeteria car, and half a lap to go.
Good Cosworth car.
And he will add one more victory to his total in his quest to become the winningest driver ever in USAC competition. There is the checkered flag for Rapid Rich. Now, let's go back and take a look at second place. And once again, Mel Kenyon finishes second.
Mel Kenyon's in second.
Third. Is it still Stan Fox who rides in third position? There's a look at your leader and the winner, and back-to-back. He won last week. He wins this week. A second victory for Vogler and a third for a Cosworth. The other Cosworth was the one driven to victory by Mike Gregg.
So the Pontiacs, for all their power, they didn't show to be the strongest winner out here. And the old, not terribly old, but the old tried and true Cosworth power seems to come through. The finish for third and fourth was real close, Gary.
There's a good look at Rapid Rich Vogler as he is starting to unbuckle to get some fresh air in on a hot, humid night. And we'll come back and take a look at a close-up on a few comments from your victor as we look at the finish of our 30-lap feature.
Bowling in the USA. Bowling in the USA.
We're having a party. This weekend, save 50% or more on bowling and enter our Bowling in the USA sweepstakes. Win award-winning Jeep Cherokees named 4x4 of the year again. Trips to the Showboat Hotel and Casino. Over 70,000 prizes.
Bowling, bowling, bowling in the USA. We're back bowling, bowling, bowling in the USA.
Why do over 35 of the world's best engineered performance cars come with Goodyear Eagle street radials exclusively? A major reason is the Goodyear Eagle contact patch, where the car ultimately meets and responds to the road. So it's no coincidence that Goodyear Eagles are the overwhelming choice of the world's best engineered performance cars. Goodyear Eagles, because there really is a difference.
ESPN is now the proud home of Motor Week Illustrated, America's first and foremost weekly racing news show. Keep pace with the racing action on television's fastest half hour. If it goes fast, catch it on Motor Week Illustrated.
We are back live at Indianapolis Raceway Park as we take a look at Rapid Rich Vogler, and we'll go down there and check in with Brian Hammonds. This Goodyear Winner's Circle interview being brought to you by Goodyear Eagle Tires. Goodyear, because there really is a difference. Brian?
Rich Vogler not only wins this race, but also the points championship in the Hardee's Racing Series. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll tell you, the car was really working tonight. Extra special. The Jonathan Bird Cafeteria, Bryant Pepsi, Cosworth It's a Vogler craft, actually. It's one my dad built. It was really working good. It really accepted the racetrack tonight. And the racetrack was slippery, but it was fast.
This was the most one-sided feature we've seen all year. You ran away and hit.
Well, you know, the fans probably saw me come from last to second twice, and that's a feat that's hard to do here. And getting lucky enough to start in the front couple rows makes it easy on you.
Even though you had the big lead, you didn't let off at all, did you?
Well, I was getting signals, and I knew it, but the car was working in such that with the Hoosier tires I'm running, I had to run it hard. You know, the Hoosier tires are stay with you, and they don't want to wear out, and you just keep running harder and harder till the end.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Rich Vogler becomes our first repeat winner, and he's the points champion in the Hardee's Racing Series. Gary?
And as he said, he finished second twice, both times coming from the back of the pack, and the first time out he finished sixth, so he takes the point championships. We'll come back and have some more comments and more interesting facets from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Stay with us.
Last year alone, over 60 major racing championships were won with the Goodyear Racing Eagle, the race-winning technology that helped develop these tires. Can be found in these tires, the Goodyear Eagle Street Radials, the best-selling performance tires in the world. Goodyear Eagles, because there really is a difference.
If you're like me, you want your engine to perform. You want it to run clean, and you don't want sludge. That's why you and I both need Quaker State with QSX. No other oil runs cleaner or fights sludge better. And the Quaker State I use in my car is the same oil you can buy right off the shelf for your car.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will. Want to make your pulse race? Come see the Quaker State Porsche race in the Quaker State 500 at Pocono Raceway, Sunday, August 21st. Call 1-800-RACEWAY.
Changes me. I don't ask for too much, mama. Don't take too much, please. I'm just headed for the mountains. I'm just looking for a bus.
The Volvo 780 has been engineered to be the most exceptional Volvo ever, with an interior that advances the science of ergonomics, seats that take longer to make than some cars, a sound system that sounds better than anything you've ever heard, and multi-link independent rear suspension that puts comfort and handling under one roof. The limited edition Volvo 780. Get one while they last.
I'm a quiet guy. I just get so excited that Energizer really is the longest lasting battery. I can't help myself. It'll surprise you! Buy Energizer batteries, and I can go back to being shy and retiring.
There's bumper-to-bumper excitement in the tightest Winston Cup battle ever. Top driver Rusty Wallace leads the field in the Budweiser at the Glen. Sunday afternoon at 1 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and from slugging it out on the racetrack to slugging it out in the boxing ring. Quincy Taylor and Terry Norris coming your way in top-ranked boxing tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 10-round junior middleweight bout. Quincy Taylor and Terry Norris. And speaking of battling it out, consistency, Mel Kenyon has finished second 3 times and third twice. Brian?
Mel Kenyon has been consistently in the top 3 this year, but you could never get in the winner's circle. Second again tonight.
That's true, Brian, but again, second still pays money.
Second in the point standings. You look back, you missed one race, or you could have won it.
Oh, that's very possible, but it was more of a pleasure to me to bring Marianne home, and so second place will do.
Vogler was awfully strong tonight. Was there any point where you thought you could catch him?
Early in the race, I was right with him, but then I developed a very slight little push, and then he left. Anytime you give him an edge at all, he disappears.
You were telling me earlier that you're sorry to see this series come to an end.
That's true. It's been a good series. There's been a lot of people here watching. I'm really thankful for Hardee's and for the guys that sponsored my race car, too. It's a tremendous gathering this summer.
Congratulations. Good series.
Thanks, Brian.
If there's a Mr. Consistency award, it should go to this man, Mel Kenyon. Gary?
Well, we saw a very, very nasty flip last week where a driver had a hand injured. Mark Dismore. In fact, it looked like perhaps an arm restraint actually came off. It's a safety device that has saved a lot of broken arms and broken wrist and hands. Right now, ESPN presents a quick fact. Quick Facts are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
You have seen all the obvious safety pieces on a race car, the roll bar, the lap belts, the shoulder harness, but we haven't spoken about is the arm restraints. This is a very important part of the safety equipment in a race car. Last week, Mark Dismore got upside down here at Raceway Park, and his arm restraints were adjusted too long, or his arm restraint came off somehow, and his arm got outside the cage and injured his hand. These are very important. You adjust them tight around your arm, and you adjust this length here to where it goes in the lap belt area, one for either arm. The length is then adjusted to where your arm cannot go any higher than this. You can reach all of the pieces in the cockpit, but if you get upside down and you lose hold of the wheel, your arm is stopped here. Many times you'll see drivers that have these on their car, but they're not adjusted right and their hand goes outside. It's defeating the purpose of what these are for. They must be tight enough to hold your hand inside, and in Mark's case last week, his hand wouldn't have been injured.
I know sometimes, Steve, you feel very confined in the cockpit, but boy, they all have a purpose.
Everything there is for a reason for safety, and if you don't use it all, then you're defeating the purpose of it, because one helps the other.
Well, the victory continues. Vogler picks up some good prize money as he wins back-to-back here on ESPN.
Ricky Rudd talks about Quaker State with QSX.
If you're like me, you want your engine to perform. You want it to run clean, and you don't want sludge. That's why you and I both need Quaker State with QSX.
QSX keeps dirt particles in suspension so they're trapped in your oil filter instead of sludging up your engine.
No other oil runs cleaner or fights sludge better. And the Quaker State I use in my car is the same oil you can buy right off the shelf for your car.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
I'm Mike Lindretti. I have the power to do anything I want in any of my own cars using powerful Astrolite batteries. On the road, off the road, or around the town with Astrolite batteries.
Astrolite batteries with advanced technology to give you all the power you want for any of your cars.
No matter what car you drive.
Astrolite gives you the power.
Your nearby CarQuest Auto Parts store isn't owned by some big corporation. It's owned by one of your neighbors who really cares about you. As trained, CarQuest qualified counter pros, we're here to make sure you get the right part at the right price. Even the right advice. There's over 2,000 stores like this one across the country with a whole world of parts backed up by the CarQuest coast-to-coast guarantee. CarQuest, America's auto parts giant, because real value and friendly professional help make CarQuest the right place to buy auto parts.
Back live at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and Brian is standing by with third place.
Stan Fox for the first time this year in a Pontiac. You made it go pretty well.
I'd really have to thank Gary Runyon. This is the second time the car's been out here, and we had a bad starting spot, but we came through the field and we ended up third.
I understand you have a question to ask A.J. Foyt, who's probably watching at home.
Well, I hope he feels well, and A.J., don't forget about me next week at Pocono. I'd sure like to run one of your backup cars. I'm going to come out there and hang around, and hopefully he'll put me in one.
Well, you got the hat on, you got the uniform on, you're ready to go.
Oh, this is Jim Gilmore bought me this uniform, and it's a lucky uniform. It's done real well all night, and I'd like to thank Jim and Hardee's and Jolly Rancher for this series, because it's just been fantastic, and I hope we can come back next year and do the same thing.
Come on, A.J., let him give him a drive. Back upstairs.
And, of course, if A.J. is watching, we wish you well as well with your bruised kidney. I'd like to see you back in a championship car. More coming your way as we look at the feature finish here from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Fixing this water damage will cost $1,200. Could I have prevented it?
You could with new improved Thompson's Water Seal.
This water damage is going to run $750. What would have stopped it?
New improved Thompson's Water Seal. Thompson's now has 50% more active ingredients to protect wood, brick, or concrete from water damage with a lot more waterproofing power.
This time, I'm going to protect my new deck with Thompson's Water Seal. A great defense against repair expense.
Tonight's USAC Jolly Rancher Midget program has been brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil. The big Q stands for quality, always has, always will. By the more than 2,200 CarQuest Auto Parts stores across the country. And by Astrolite Batteries. Astrolite Batteries give you the power. Be sure to join us next Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern Time for the USAC Sprint Cars. For Steve Chassie, Brian Hammonds, I'm Gary Lee. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Behind every single flight one of these makes stand the 60,000 professionals of United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.